Citizen of Azeroth, behold. Our world groans in agony, besieged by an adversary of unspeakable power. As her lands break and crumble, the fractures that divide her people must be mended, for neither side can overcome this threat alone. Join me. Cast aside your prejudices. Together, we must heal Azeroth's wounds, and those of her people.
Welcome to episode 5 of the Adventures of Mothgirl. As you can see here, I'm actually in Vashj'ir. Yes, indeed, I've been leveling a lot. The last 2 days I've played quite a bit of WoW, or actually the last day. I got the last 5 levels from 75 to 80 just today actually, and it was quite a lot of leveling. I'm pretty sick of Northrend by now. So, and no, just I have to tell this or say this right away, that cutscene didn't just randomly pop up, and you don't just randomly appear in this ship under the water. There is actually a whole intro sequence, and you get on a boat from Orgrimmar. When you hit level 80, of course, a quest pops up saying called a personal summons, I think, and that shows you the Thrall at the Maelstrom cinematic cutscene thing. And then after that, I got from the little notice board in Orgrimmar. Yeah, in the middle of Orgrimmar, there's a notice board. It gives you the quest to head off to either Vashj'ir or Hyjal. I decided to choose Vashj'ir because let me think. What are the reasons? Total Biscuit's actually doing a Hyjal leveling series at the moment, and I thought that, you know, well, why not just do the opposite, because I'm pretty sure that all of you guys watch that anyway. And another reason is I actually think that there are better items from the rep rewards for druids, so I decided to stick with this. So back to the game. The quest that you just saw me doing before this, that was to acquire your sea legs, as they call it, and that just gives you infinite underwater breath, and it gives you quite a decent speed buff when you're in Vashj'ir and under the water, obviously. And yeah, it's without that it would have been hell. So what happened is you got attacked by a kraken or a squid or, you know, some large tentacled beast when you arrived on the ship in above Vashj'ir, at least from Orgrimmar, and I assume the same thing happens for the Alliance. And then this is the ship that you're in here, and things are looking pretty dire. So the Horde is in survival mode in Vashj'ir. Right now we're just helping them buy some time and getting them some food, because yes, those orcs gotta eat. So I decided this video was just going to be a sort of first impressions of Vashj'ir, because I only did the first couple of quests. You'll see them all here, obviously, and I'll just tell you what I think about it. I mean, firstly, the one thing that you immediately notice is it does look amazing. This is the first time that they actually make an entire zone underwater. And they did it well. They did it really well. They must have done their research. They made use of the nice updated graphics engine. Everything looks pretty shiny. And another thing, performance-wise, I expected this to be terrible. With the amount of stuff they got floating around under here, these kelp forests, the NPCs, the mobs, the other players, and not to mention the amount of phasing that they use, and that's actually something I wanted to talk about as well. I think the phasing, thus far at least, has been really amazing. It's subtle little shifts that they just use to help them actually tell the story, and I think they do a great job at using it. You'll realize that sometimes you'll see the characters just fade out and fade in, and then they stand in somewhere else, or something else is about to happen. It's really impressive. Another thing that sort of got me right from the start was that this is actually pretty hard. You have to pay so much attention, and it's not something I'm really used to. I won't lie, my character's sort of pampered. I've got all those bind on account items, which are actually going to be pretty useless from level 80 onwards. If you guys didn't know, I think it was said quite a while ago, the bind on account items stop at level 80. So far, I mean, they haven't. Maybe in the next expansion they'll make them work again to level 85, and then they won't work from 85 to 90. But right now they won't level past 80, so I'm going to be replacing all my gear. But up until this point, it's been really easy. I've been able to pull 4, 5, 6 mobs, no problem at all, and I can take them easily. Just switch to bear form maybe if things get rough, and pop 1 or 2 cooldowns, because as I said in the previous video, druids just have so many. So yeah, right here it's difficult. I think probably 5 or 6 times I nearly died at the start here, and it's not just because the mobs are stronger. They are stronger. They got a lot more HP, probably about at least triple what they had in on level 80 Northern mobs. Because I just came from Ice Crown actually, and yeah, at least triple, so they die a lot slower, and I'm sure that'll equal out when I get better gear and more health, stuff like that. I won't die as fast, but right now arriving here, it's actually pretty bad. And as I said, a couple of times I nearly died here, and it's also just because I'm not used to having to watch above, below, and on all the sides. So very cool by Blizzard to actually make the zone feel totally different, not just look different as well. The quests and stuff, so far I gotta say I'm pretty impressed. They can't do too much, because you can't get too creative and too gimmicky right at the start. I think you might put players off, so they start off pretty basic, and you have to keep in mind that they're trying to tell a story here. You arrived on the boat to conquer this new unexplored land that appeared after the shattering, sorry, not the cataclysm. You got attacked, shipwrecked under the water, and then obviously there are these various people that are helping you out, and then the story just unfolds from there. And obviously I don't know where it ends, because as I said, I just started a little while ago, and I've only done a couple of quests. So basic quests or not, I don't think players will be able to slack here. I think it's pretty exciting. You actually come into the expansion and you're going to struggle a bit. You can't just pull an entire group of mobs. Maybe, sure, some of these guys with their full Ice Crown Citadel gear that started leveling here, maxed out. That would probably be a bit easier than what I have right now. I'm wearing a bunch of greens and a couple of bind on account items, so it's obviously a lot different. But I can immediately feel that they've sort of stepped it up a bit from the previous expansions. So right now we're going to look for the weapons and armor of Nazgrim and his crew. This is one of those quests that I thought was pretty interesting, not because the quest was really anything unique or special. It's pretty simple. You can get the armor from these goblins here, or you can get it on the floor. And here's obviously one of those pickup quests, a big improvement that you can actually see those on the minimap now. Yeah, I hate missing quests. I mean, I think a lot of people would probably agree with me. I'm a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to that kind of thing, except if I'm really in a hurry, because I seem to have done very badly in Northern, but I'll tell you more about that later. But anyway, this quest, you can pick it up on the ground, you can get it from these goblins, but the coolest part is that when you actually arrived, when you were on your way on the boat, these guys were kitted out in their full battle gear, their amazing weapons, and their really cool armor. And then obviously the boat got attacked. Then you woke up under the water, in the boat, in the hull of that broken down boat there, and these guys were wearing absolutely nothing. Their weapons were gone, their armor was gone. Needless to say, they weren't happy. But what I do like is that when you actually hand the weapons and armor back, you see them putting it on, and then they kit it out in their full gear again, and they're ready to fight. And I gotta say, that actually makes it pretty interesting to me. It's nice that the world changes around you when you actually do stuff. It's nice. It makes it feel slightly more interactive, because that's one thing that the game was sort of lacking, and many games of this type actually lack. On a sort of side note here, I leveled all the way through Northrend in a pretty big hurry, and I have to honestly say that that was probably the low point of my entire leveling experience. I did enjoy Outland because, I don't know, it has a nice feeling to me. That was probably my favorite expansion before. I mean, I preferred it above Wrath the Lich King. Don't ask me why, I just enjoyed it more. It had a better feel to me. So I didn't enjoy leveling through Northrend that much, and doing the quests and stuff, compared to this, it was incredibly dull. It was just really boring, and I was saying before that I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and I sort of skimped on that in Northrend. I jumped from zone to zone. I think I started in Borean Tundra, and that was the only zone that I actually finished. So I've got one zone achievement, the rest of them, that's for doing the quests, of course. And the rest of them I headed to Dragonblight, I did all the really easy quests I could find there, and then I head to Grizzly Hills, I did all the really easy quests till I got that pit of something, yeah, where you do the Ring of Blood style thing. And after I did that, I moved on again, and I just kept doing that till I got to level 77. I headed to Storm Peaks, I stayed there till 79, and then I went to Ice Crown and I did the last level there. But that's something that you're not going to see people do in Cataclysm. Obviously there are less zones, so you don't have as much choices, but there's these two starting zones, but I don't think you'll see people jump in zones like that, because you've actually got this story that's going on, and it's actually going to be entertaining, or it's supposed to be, at least. I'm not going to say it is, because I don't know yet, but it's meant to be entertaining, it's meant to keep the player gripped, it's meant to keep the player sort of enjoying every moment. And here's what I was talking about before. We're going to give these guys their armor back. Happy, look at those cheers. And ooh, nice, you see they're ready for battle. So that item I found out there under the sea was, it was in fact a piece of Secret Alliance technology. Yes, indeed. The Stormwind seal equipment. We're going to go steal some of that for ourselves now, because these orcs want to be able to breathe underwater. Funny enough, it seems like the Alliance got to the high-tech gadgets before the Horde. Those goblins really need to step up their game. The gnomes can't be outdoing them. I mean, seriously, if the gnomes win, then what kind of world is that? So we're just doing a quick simple collection quest here while we're collecting our herbs. Yes, I've got mining and herbalism, as I told you before. I actually went to a lot of trouble to try get both those maxed before I came here, and I was really surprised to see the amount of mines and herbs that I did see here, because I don't know, I just didn't expect it. I suppose they have to sort of saturate these zones well, because there are actually fewer zones than there were in the other expansions. So yeah, I've got that new ore, those new herbs, and I've got absolutely nothing to do with them yet. I haven't decided what I want yet. I'm gonna drop one of them. I'm not sure what yet. I think I told you before I was thinking of going either alchemy or jewel crafting. That was also at the top of my list. I don't think I'll go inscriptionist. I've got another character that does inscription. But anyway, I'll have to see. So I'm going to see how it looks, maybe check what the other players are doing, what you can actually get from those professions, and then I'll make my decision based on that. But if I have a look around here, I didn't see very many other players. I mean, obviously I'm playing at like 11 PM here, and I suppose people are sort of moved on. A lot of players are still leveling, but most of the guys are actually level 85 and grinding away at the heroics and the raids now. So shame on me for being as late as I am. I was actually very weary about getting ganked, because I did see one or two Alliance players, but luckily they didn't come for me, because I probably would have died instantly. But back to Vashj'ir. If any of you actually leveled through this zone or are about to start leveling through it, you can let me know what you think about it. I personally, I actually wanted to go to Hyjal, but there were, like I said, a few reasons for me to come here instead. And I'm not disappointed, not yet at least. I'm not sure if I'm going to be sort of recording every single moment that I'm down here. I was thinking of doing that, but ouch, that's gonna destroy my hard drive space, and it's gonna be a lot of videos that I have to do. So I really might do it, but I can't guarantee anything yet. So if I do have gaps in the story, I'll try to fill it in as best I can. But as I said, I just can't guarantee anything just yet. What is going on here?
Blood and thunder!
Die Naga. Yeah, the Orcs were never a subtle race. So here we go, we're making our move. The Orcs are trying to push out. They've got those seal helmets on. They're looking pretty snazzy there. They've got some full stomachs. I gave them some nice crab meat to eat, and they're fully kitted in their weapons and armor. So this quest actually bugged for me when I played it the first time. You might have noticed that my video sort of transitioned there and I just appeared as a bear. But I did this entire... You have to help them, obviously, fend off this attack. But I didn't know it was rigged from the start. Sorry about the spoilers here, guys, but it's rigged. You can't win. Oh, no. And obviously I didn't know that. I was trying really hard to win. And I think I might have been trying a little bit too hard, because I kept having like more than one mob on me. And I kept being really close to dying. And I really loved this part. Make yourself useful, shaman. And he does indeed make himself quite useful, because look at that zap. And then all that's left is some Naga ribs. I loved it. It was absolutely amazing. So as I was saying, the quest bugged for me, because what happens here is the next wave arrives, and obviously it's pretty difficult. These things, I mean, look at the amount of them, and I mean, even just 2 of them would probably give me a tough time if I don't throw all my cooldowns out there. So I picked off this one at the back. Look at me being a real chicken. But the first time I did it, which is actually not this recording here, this Naga comes along, he grabs Brother Nazgrim, and then obviously afterwards the next one comes and grabs you, and then they grabbed me when I was on about, I think, 3,500 HP, and that was a bad idea, because when they drop you a little bit later, you drop in through the water, I must add, and you take falling damage. So I landed, and I had about 100 HP left, and then this random Naga just one-shotted me and I was dead. And then I spawned at the graveyard, and it was pretty funny because I ran all the way back to my corpse, and then there was absolutely nothing. The quest had failed. Here you go, I'm actually being carried right now. The quest had failed, and I couldn't go back and accept the new one, so I was sort of stuck. So I abandoned it, and I waited, and I waited, and I waited, and then the guys respawned, and I started again. Yeah, he's got me right there, and apparently his lady is going to be grateful for his efforts. So there you go, the shamans are there, they gank this Naga one time, and there you take the falling damage under the water. I was baffled by that, but I healed myself up quickly, I recovered, no problem, and I followed those shamans home. And here obviously I stressed a bit because I saw the alliance for the first time, and I wasn't quite sure what would happen if they attacked me. I didn't sort of test the waters though. I just tried to not look at them, not make eye contact. And here's where the fun starts. I actually really enjoyed these quests. So they're looking for a way to travel swiftly under the water, and wow, great choice. I'm gonna go try lure a sea turtle now, and this was a really good quest, and I'm gonna actually slow the game down again so you can just check this one out, because I absolutely loved it. It was really a treat.
I cannot cast that yet.
Yeah, that was actually one of those what just happened there moments, because I didn't really know what the hell that was all about, and I sort of realized that that turtle was slightly too slow. Giddy Up was just not doing what it was meant to do. And then comes the shock. But anyway, so Mona Stormhoof has a slightly better plan this time. She actually thinks a seahorse would be better fitted, and I gotta agree with her 100% on that one. Once again, I'm slightly clueless and I'm just checking out the wonderful view. This is just how I do it. This is how I roll, guys. I often don't read the quest the first time, and then I just check it out the second time. Then I realize, oh wait, it's actually right here. So this was actually a pretty cool quest. I enjoyed it a lot, and I enjoyed looking at this little fish here. I mean, look at it's so cute. So you jump on the seahorse, and this is actually where you get your seahorse mount, your abyssal seahorse. For those non-druids amongst you, this is probably a really big deal, because for me personally, the aquatic form works perfectly, beautifully, wonderfully, and it's amazingly fast. And you can see I'm actually clicking on the buttons there because I've got some really random hotkeys on those settings, on those on the vehicle bar down there. So pretty interesting quest. I gotta say, it's really cool that they can use this vehicle bar and these vehicle quests in this way, because it's a lot different than what we've seen before, and it's a lot better than the normal sort of get in a catapult and blow some stuff up, or you know, stuff like that. And it wasn't difficult, definitely not difficult. As you can see, I did it the first time, but it was pretty fun. And then obviously you get given this mount, which is amazingly fast under the water. Right here I was actually wondering about Nazgrim and his crew, because he got carried away just before me and I didn't see where he went, I didn't see what happened to him. I'm gonna assume, because I like thinking happy thoughts, that he actually survived and we'll actually see him a little bit later. If I don't see him later in the zone, I'm gonna be pretty sad, because he seemed like a stand-up guy and he was trying to do what was right for his Horde faction. So I'll keep an eye on that, and I'll definitely keep you guys posted. As I said before, I haven't actually played this zone through yet, so it's a real mystery to me. And wow, it's actually a really cool looking mount. It's a big pity that you can't use it anywhere else. Not that it would make sense using a seahorse outside of the sea, but it is really cool, and the amount of detail that they put in there is quite impressive too. So this is about as far as I got in my first night in Vashj'ir. I know it's not very much, and it's not really very much content for you guys, but you're gonna have to live with it for now. There's a lot more coming up, and you know, after the new year, when I've got a lot more time, it's gonna be a lot easier. So I didn't undertake Adara's task just yet. I haven't started yet. I actually logged out right there, which might have been silly because I'm not getting rested XP, but that's just the way of things. And I will, in fact, try to start recording from there again. If I don't, I will sort of have a little bit of a recap for you guys, like they do at the start of your favorite series or something like that. I'll just have a bit of a update, refresher for you guys of what actually happened while you were not watching me play. So if you have any suggestions, comments, questions, anything at all, leave that in the comments below. This video won't be banned because of Eye of the Tiger, nothing like that, nothing funny going on here. I hope you guys enjoy it, and please keep checking back here soon for more. Like it, favorite it, all that stuff. Goodbye.